Hi YouTube, my name's Drew and you're watching Drawing with Drew. Today's video is an exciting one because it's the official start date for the comic, Adventures of Poop Dog. This is the very first comic, it's only 2 pages long. That's going to be in the main comic. So I'm going to get started on that today. I'm going to flip over to my vintage GoPro so you can see a down view. And I want to show you how I'm going to lay out the page first. So here's my initial comic. 8 years ago I did this one. This is just half of it on the UG, which you guys saw, and it's kind of basic. So I'm going to make it a lot better. But as I said in my one of my other videos, we're going to be trying to make this comic a 6x9. So if you have regular printer paper, which is 8.5 by 11, what I'm going to do to give me a little bit of a buffer is I'm going to make my page 7.3 by the 11. So I'm going to just kind of cut off a little bit here. And what that means by doing the 7.3 by 11 is that when I do scan it in, I can shrink it down to 6x9 and it keeps the same proportions. So it will give me a little bit of a, like condensed look without going crazy, and then I can also keep this into, a binder or whatever else I want to, and it just kind of saves some space. So essentially all I'm going to do is take my ruler here. So this side is good, this side is cut off. All right, so this is going to be page 1, and what I did off screen is I did a little rough layout here, a little better, a little more refined than my original one with both pages. So I'm going to have a small box here first, which is going to be kind of like the title of this comic, because there's going to be a number of smaller comics within the main comic. So I'm going to have one that is smaller, and then I'm going to have a larger one which is kind of like going to show a little bit more of the scene. So it'll show all the family members. Then I'm going to have 3 panels, which is going to be 1, 2, and 3, and then I'm going to do the final 2. So we'll start with that one first. So I don't really know how this is going to work in terms of my editing. I'm going to try to make it somewhat enjoyable to watch, I guess, at the same time. I'm not going to try to blast through it, but I'll probably do all my pencils quickly, and that way it doesn't bore you. And then we'll go in with the inking, and it should look a little nicer, and it'll be a little easier to see. It's been several hours now since I started my pencil sketching, probably 2 hours. What I would normally do is, because I wouldn't have as many erasings and whatever else, and then I would just go over it with my calligraphy pens, brush pens, and then I can erase the pencil afterwards. But I think in this case what I'm going to do, bust out this super old Crayola light board. Okay, so now I've got the paper there, it's lined up, and now I can see through the paper relatively well. And I was originally going to ink it with my calligraphy pens and everything, and as you can see here, I started. When you're drawing on in a small area, it's much harder to get those details in. You have to use a much finer line. So I've tried to do it here, and it's not too bad on the first ones, but then, I find that it's just a little, I don't know, it's just not quite as tight as I want. And to be perfectly honest, I think it's probably going to be better digital anyway, and that way I can manipulate it more, and then it'll just look nicer as a final product. I wanted to have the inking done on there so that I'd have original art potentially down the road to sell if I wanted to, or just to keep as, whatever, but I'll still have the pencils, and that's probably enough. As you can see over here in the dark, I've got my reference photos on the side of my wall, and also over here, my poop dogs. So let's take some photos and input them into my Procreate app. Procreate. Gonna open a new one. I'm gonna click this little button here so that way I can put in my own size. The width will be 7.3, and we want to do inches. By the height, we're going to do 11. And DPI, I'm just going to do 300. That gives me a maximum number of layers is 33, which I won't go anywhere near that, so that's good. Done. Okay, here we go. So now I'm going to take a photo of the very first page. Try to keep it relatively even. And we'll use the photo. And if it's not quite even, that's okay. I can adjust it in here. That looks pretty good. And I've been charging my pencil. You may have seen my recent video of the iPad Air 3. Is it still good enough for 2025, 2026? And I would argue, yes, that it is. It's still very good. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to hit a new layer. I'm also going to take this one and I'm going to turn the opacity down by a double tap. Okay, we're going to try inking and we're going to do syrup because it's a little smoother. And why this is good is because, you know, if you're drawing with a piece of paper and a pen, you have to be very careful. It's a small picture, whereas here you can zoom in so you can get those details that you're looking for. A number of hours later, I have finished the first two in black and white, and that's where I'm going to stop, do the comic in black and white. Let's just take a peek at it all together here. I think it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to print it. Here it is. Quite pleased with it. Let's read it over once, and then it'll be up on my Instagram page if you want to reread it. Poop Dog's new home. Meet Sam, the newest addition to the McDougal family. This is Drew, one of Sam's new owners. Drew suspects that Sam is evil. He knows that he secretly poops everywhere, but no one seems to notice. Hey everyone, watch that dog! He poops everywhere! Which dog? This dog? He wouldn't poop inside. Just look how cute he is. No, he surely wouldn't do that. Sure he would. Matter of fact, he's pooping on your cupcakes right now. Son, that's just chocolate frosting. So warm and moist. You're both nuts. I've got to get rid of that poop dog. Hope you guys enjoyed that comic as much as I did. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next comic. See you in the next one.